Hello my dear friends, hope all of you are doing well. So today in this video I will discuss on the topic called exchange interaction. Hope this will help you a lot. So let's start. So the topic is exchange interaction. So what is this? Exchange interaction is a quantum mechanical effect what occurs for identical particles associated with an energy. The energy is called the exchange energy. So it is a quantum mechanical effect with identical particles. Now the identical particle means, I mean to say that the bosons like the photons, gluons and the phonons which can share the same quantum state, and also the fermions like the electrons, quarks and the neutrons which are unable to share the same quantum state due to the Pauli exclusion principle. So the identical particles are of two types, one is the bosons, another one is the fermions. So in the list of the bosons there are photon, gluons and the phonon. In the list of the fermions there are electron, quarks and the neutrons. Now if you do not consider the relativistic effect, the electric interaction between the particles does not depend on their spin. So there will be no spin operator in the Hamiltonian. But if we consider the total energy of the system, there is a dependency of the system that it depends on the electron spin. Now depending on whether the solid is metallic or the non-metallic and on the delocalization of the magnetic moments, there are four kinds of exchange coupling. So one is the direct exchange coupling, another one is the super exchange coupling. These two occurs in the insulators. The third one is the indirect exchange coupling, and the fourth one is the itinerant exchange. So now you can see in our next page. So you can see in the direct exchange, magnetic moments are strongly localized with magnetic center and interact directly through the space without the need of an intermediary. So in direct exchange, the strongly localized magnetic moments and no need of an intermediary. So this is the direct exchange. The fact is that this kind of mechanism, I mean the direct exchange mechanism, cannot be an important mechanism in controlling the magnetic properties because there may be insufficient direct orbital coupling between neighboring magnetic orbitals. In the super exchange interaction, this is the second kind of exchange interaction. There is indirect exchange interaction between the non-neighboring magnetic ions mediated by another non-magnetic ion. So the two transition metal ions separated by an oxygen atom is an example of the super exchange, that is Mn plus 2, 2Mn plus 2 coupled by the oxygen atom. In the case of the indirect exchange, sometimes the magnetic ions can be mediated by conduction electron. The localized spin magnetic moment polarizes the conduction electron. The polarization couples to the another localized magnetic moment at a distance r away. This is an indirect magnetic interaction and does not involve direct coupling between the magnetic moments. So indirect magnetic interaction, no involvement of the direct coupling between the magnetic moments. So this kind of indirect magnetic interaction, it is called the Ruderman-Kittel-Kashuwa-Yasuda or RKKY interaction. So we can see that the JRKKY, this is the exchange term, is proportional to cos of 2kfr divided by r cube, where kf is called the Fermi wave vector. This kind of RKKY interaction is a long range nature. It might be ferro or the antiferromagnetic coupling depending on the distance of the oscillatory coupling. So now suppose we consider a system of two particles from the solution of the Schrodinger equation. So this is our next page, that we consider a system of two particles. From the solution of the Schrodinger equation, we can find a set of energy levels which are associated with the spatial wave function phi of r1 r2 and which is a linear combination of each of the electron coordinate wave function. That is, the spatial wave function phi of r1 r2 is a linear combination of phi 1 r1 and phi 2 r2, each individual electron wave function. So as the particles are identical, the Hamiltonian must be invariant with respect to the permutation of the particles. The spatial wave function phi of r1 r2 can be symmetric or asymmetric in nature. Now if we assume that the particles are of spin half, the total wave function, that is the product of the spatial and the spin wave function, has to be antisymmetric with respect to the permutation of the two particles. So the total wave function must be antisymmetric and the Hamiltonian must be invariant with the permutation of the particles. This is because in the current quantum mechanical description, we cannot allow anything which distinguishes between the particles. the wave function must describe both the particles. So you can see that if phi of r1 r2 is antisymmetric, then the spin part of the total wave function chi of sigma 1 sigma 2 must be symmetric, and chi of sigma 1 sigma 2 is symmetric. It means the total spin is 1. Spins are parallel. In another case, if you can see the total wave function and then this is the phi of r1 r2 is, if phi of r1 r2 is symmetric, then chi of sigma 1 sigma 2 is a function of sigma 1 sigma 2 is antisymmetric, and the total spin is 0 and the spins are antiparallel. And if in another case phi of r1 r2 is antisymmetric, then chi of sigma 1 sigma 2 is symmetric and the total spin is 1, so the spins are parallel. So we can say that we can write the total wave function of this for the state of spin S. What it will be? The total wave function for a state of spin S, it can be written like, if S is equal to 0, that is the total spin is 0, it is called the singlet state, that is the magnetic quantum number, the spin quantum number is 0, ms is equal to 0. Then the wave function can be, the total wave function is a part of the spatial wave function and the spin wave function, so it is symmetric and then it is antisymmetric. So the psi s is equal to 1 by root 2, this is the normalization vector, times phi 1 r1 phi 2 r2 plus phi 1 function of r2 plus phi 2 function of r1 times the chi s, where s stands for the singlet state and it is antisymmetric in nature. For s is equal to 1, this is called the triplet state, and the spin quantum number has the 3 different values like -1, 0 and the +1. So for the triplet state, the total wave function will be psi t is equal to 1 by root 2 times phi 1 r1 phi 2 r2 minus of phi 1 r2 phi 2 r1 times the chi t, where t stands for triplet state. So this spatial part is antisymmetric and the spin part is symmetric in nature. And now for a general many body system, the Hamiltonian will be like, so H operator is equal to sum over I minus H cut square by twice me grad of I square, and this one expresses the kinetic energy operator for the electrons, minus sum over I alpha z alpha E square divided by Ri minus R alpha. This expresses the potential acting on the electrons due to the nuclei. Now the third term is plus half sum over I not equal to j E square divided by Ri minus Rj, and this is due to the electron-electron interaction. And the fourth one sum over alpha minus H cut square divided by twice m alpha, where m alpha is the mass of the nucleus, gradient of alpha its whole square. So this is for the kinetic energy of the nuclei. And the last one, this is the fifth one, and this is the nucleus-nucleus interaction, half sum over alpha not equal to beta z alpha z beta E square divided by R alpha minus of R beta. Now we can write the energy of the singlet and the triplet state are, so the energy of the singlet and the triplet state can be written like Es is equal to integration of psi s star H operator psi s dr1 dr2, and for this is for the triplet state, Et is equal to psi t star H operator psi t dr1 dr2, where Es is, we can here I have written here Es is equal to integration of psi s star H operator psi s dr1 dr2, and psi s star can be written it like 1 by root 2, this is the normalization factor, times psi 1 star r1 phi 2 star r2 plus phi 1 star r2 phi 2 star r1 times chi s, this is for the singlet state, its dagger. So if we calculate this Es minus Et, I will get 2 times phi 1 star r1 phi 2 star r2 times H operator acting on phi 1 r2 phi 2 r1 dr1 dr2. So now where Es minus Et is the difference between singlet and the triplet energy states. Now if we consider the coupling between the two spin half states coupled by an interaction, the Hamiltonian can be written as like the coupling between two spin half states, and H becomes for the only for the spin part, H operator is a constant times Sa dot Sb, where Sa is for the operator for the spin of particle A, and this is the spin operator for the particle of B, and the S total, what it will be like, Sa plus Sb. So if I take the whole square in the both side, S total its whole square is equal to Sa whole square plus Sb whole square plus 2 Sa dot Sb. Now for the two spin half particles, spin can be either S is equal to 0 or 1. So we can write like, now we have the eigenvalue of S total its whole square is equal to, we know that is equal to S times S plus 1. So if S is equal to 1, so the eigenvalue of S total its whole square, what it will be, like 2, and if S is equal to 0, it becomes 0. Similarly for SA whole square and SB whole square, it both has the eigenvalue of half time half plus 1. So I have taken the spin of half for both the particles, so half time half plus 1, it means 3 by 4. Now from the relation of S total its whole square is equal to SA square plus SB square plus 2 SA SB, what I can get, so these are the two values. For S is equal to 1, S total its whole square is equal to 2, so I can put 2 here. 2 is equal to 3 by 4 plus 3 by 4 plus 2 times SA dot SB. So from there we can get the value of SA dot SB equal to 1 by 4. Similarly for AC is equal to 0, S total has a value of 0, so I can put 0 here. But SA square plus SB square is equal to 3 by 4 in this case also. So 3 by 4 plus 3 by 4 plus 2 SA dot SB. It means SA dot SB is equal to minus of 3 by 4. So SA dot SB has a two value, is equal to 1 by 4 when S is equal to 1, it means the triplet state, and is equal to minus of 3 by 4 if A is equal to 0, it means the singlet state. Now as I have defined that the Hamiltonian operator for the spin part only is equal to H operator is equal to some constant times the SA dot SB. So the energy, what is the energy, will be A by 4 for A is equal to 1, and minus of 3A by 4 is equal to 0. So up to now there are, so now I will start tell that there are some basis states, and this SA dot SB are the linear combination of these basis states. So what are the basis states? I have written here, there are 4 basis states. There is 2 spin upward, one upward, one downward, and this is the same, but the first one is a downward, the second one is upward, and the fourth one is where the both spin are downward. So we can write that the eigenstates, what it will be, the eigenstates will be this. There are 4 eigenstates for 4 different ms value for. So now you can see for S is equal to 1, their ms can be 1, 0 and minus 1. So the eigenstate for ms is equal to 1 will be this one. For ms is equal to 0, this is for this one, ms is equal to 0, and this is for ms equal to minus 1, where all the both the spins are acting downward. So now this is, in this case you can see the SA dot SB has a value of 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, and all are for the triplet state. But for the singlet state it is minus of 3 by 4, I have already calculated. And for the singlet state, S is equal to 0, ms is also 0, and but the eigenstate is 1 by root 2, this is the normalization factor, 1 by root 2 times this one. So the Hamiltonian can also be written, now I will write the total Hamiltonian in terms of the energy of the singlet and the triplet state. So I can write it like H operator for the total Hamiltonian is equal to 1 by 4 times ES plus 3 times ET minus of ES minus ET times S1 dot S2. So where I define particle number 1 as 1, particle number 2 as 2. So this is a constant term, the first term is a constant one and can be absorbed by another constant energy term, the first one. And this is the spin dependent term. So now I will define that the J is equal to ES minus ET divided by 2. Previously I have calculated what is ES minus ET. So I divided by 2 is equal to integration of phi 1 star R1, phi 2 star R2, H operator acting on phi 1 R2, phi 2 R1, dR1, dR2. So now this is this one. So if I replace ES minus ET is equal to 2J here. So H spin, the upper Hamiltonian for the spin only, is equal to minus 2J S1 dot S2. So where J is called the exchange or the overlap integral. So now there are two conditions, different condition, where is J is greater than 0, then ES greater than ET, the energy of the singlet state is greater than the triplet one, so the S equal to 1 and the triplet state is favored. For J less than 0, ES is less than ET, so S is equal to 0, that is the singlet state is favored. The exchange integral basically informs us about the relative proximity of the electron to each other. This kind of exchange interaction is very strong but exponentially decays in the distance, with the distance. When applying the above formalism for all of the neighboring atoms, the Hamiltonian becomes, we can write the total, considering all the neighboring atoms, we can write the total Hamiltonian. H is equal to 2 sum over I greater than J, Jij, this is called the exchange integral or the overlap integral, Jij Si dot Sj. And the factor 2 here appears because the summation on I greater than j to avoid the double counting. So from j greater than 0 we have seen that S is equal to 1 or the triplet state is favored, which has antisymmetric spatial part. It minimizes the Coulomb repulsion between the two electrons by keeping them apart. So my friends, I am concluding my discussion here. Please do follow, like, share and subscribe our channel Invisible Threads. If you are new on this channel, keep supporting and stay tuned. Thank you.